Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Man Blitz. I'm Jake Lynch. John Morant dropping buckets in the playoffs. Is it time to say he should have been the first pick over Zion?
John Moran, I'm on my Grizzly. Hey, I'm Micah Huff. Kwame Brown getting roasted again by Stephen A. Smith. He's a repeated offender. Anytime you think of Kwame Brown, you think of Stephen A. Smith calling him a bona fide scrub. He
They go,
can't play.
they go hand
His
to
hands
hand.
are too small.
They go hand to hand, just like peanut butter and jelly. Kwame Brown and Stephen A. Smith. But it's good to see Kwame Brown finally being relevant. It's not gonna say good. It's weird to see Kwame Brown relevant. 2021. He wasn't on the planet for like a while, and he come back. He's coming at people's necks, man. You know what
And
I'm
it's
saying?
so crazy. You didn't he came back out of nowhere. You forgot how he talked, how he acted. Who is this clone?
These young kids like, who the hell is Kwame Brown? And I'm like, hey, sit down. Let me tell you about Kwame Brown. But hey, we got a great interview for you guys today over here at Six Man Blitz. We got the boy Blake Barnett, former #1 overall recruit in the country, went to Alabama, won a national championship there, obviously. And then he went to Arizona State, then he went to USF. We talk about that in the interview too. Did he create the transfer portal? Was it him? Was it Joe Burrow?
Maybe.
Was it Nick Stokes? You have a lot of good guys, but you'll hear that in the interview. Just go through his whole journey. It's a little longer interview, but it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's one of the best interviews done so far. We go through literally his whole journey. It was
His first podcast too.
he
Coming
broke.
out party.
Hey, pause, coming up party, but he finally came out. Pause, bro. I don't know why I keep saying that, but hey,
Breaking the silence.
but he decided to break his silence and come on Six Man Blitz first podcast. Glad he did it with the boys. But it's nice to see. Is he done with football? Is he gonna keep playing in 2021? I mean, it's a big question mark. It's gonna be answered here in a couple of minutes on Six Man Blitz. But make sure to subscribe to Six Man Blitz, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, where you listen to podcasts. We're on there. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to follow our social medias on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Six Man Blitz, of course. You got anything else for the people?
Hey, you guys, if you're a loyal fan, you missed a beat to get the Six Man Blitz shirt in black and in white. You know, the white version is cold too, but hey, maybe next time.
Hey, but the OG fans got the first shirt, though.
Only the family. No, just
Yeah, looking like Mama Huff's tattoo. Hey, but it's going to be sold at a garage sale soon one day, so who knows? Maybe you're going to see a garage sale one day, and it's going to be a Six Man Blitz shirt.
Vintage Six Man Blitz shirt.
All right. You got anything else for the people, though?
Nah.
Let's get into the interview.
Touchdown Bears! No way!
Hangs, fires, yards! The Bulls lead 87-86.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
All right, now let's welcome on the boy, the man of the hour, Blake Barnett. How you feeling today, man?
Good, man. Glad to be on this with you guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, man. All right, so let's start off with you in high school and then work our way to present.
Perfect.
All right, so let's start off with you in high school. You were a 5-star recruit, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, even winning Elite 11 MVP. Did you feel like there was a sense of pressure being highly rated and having all these offers and stars and everything?
Kind of, to a certain extent. I mean, my high school career, I guess, went a little differently than everyone else's. I played traditional freshman football my freshman year. Sophomore year, played junior varsity, was a backup. And then didn't end up starting my first game until my junior year. So it kind of went from, like, nothing to everything, like, on a dime. So pressure involved? Not really. I mean, we didn't have the greatest high school team, honestly. Like, we weren't bad by any means. We were very average. I think we won like 7 games my senior year. Our offense was pretty dang good. I'll tell you that. We had we scored a lot of points, but pressure wasn't that big of a deal. And I think it's just because I was just doing what I had to do. You know, my goal was to try to go to college. And once I realized that was the opportunity, then I just had fun, man. And that's when I was able to really enjoy being in high school. competing and having fun with some of my best friends.
Yeah, you see high school football a lot different now. These freshmen coming in with offers from Bama and all these types of
Crazy,
offers.
man.
But
Crazy.
you were originally committed to Notre Dame, I know. And so what made you change and go to Bama? I know there's a lot, with Nick Saban, the history behind Bama. What are some of the things that drawed you to Bama?
Yeah, I mean, when I say everything went from like nothing to everything, my first offer was UCLA, and then my second one I think was University of Arizona, and then like right after I got my second offer, I got reached out to by Notre Dame, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to come to a game." And at that point, I was like, "Oh, Notre Dame is kind of in a really, I guess you'd say, different tier, right? There's the Alabamas and the Notre Dames and Ohio States, those kind of programs that are really like the top dogs, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
just
college football,
generationally.
it's like the national champions, and it's like everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember looking back at that as in high school, and I was like, this is crazy. So we ended up going to Notre Dame on a visit, and this was probably like my sixth or seventh week in my junior year. Mind you, I'd only been starting for like 6 or 7 games at this point. So we went on a visit to Notre Dame, and like 45 minutes before their game versus USC, Brian Kelly offered me, which was my 4th scholarship offer at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? Like, I tell you, everything went from nothing to that, and I was like blown away. I remember watching Rudy as a kid, and it was like unbelievable, right? So, seeing Touchdown Jesus and everything there was crazy. So, I think that got to me a little bit, just because it went from not much to, I'm sitting, in an office with Brian Kelly, and he's offering me a scholarship. So at that point I was like, this is crazy. I think I want to go to school here, and then I ended up committing there. Once again, it was probably an impulse decision. I was 17 at the time, and I remember later that year I ended up going on another visit, and it was snowing sideways. Like it was so cold. And mind you, I'm a kid from Southern California. I had never played in a game that was like colder than 70 degrees, right? I mean, it was hot. My first at least 6 games of the year, pushing the hundreds. So I remember I went to the second game later that year, and it was snowing, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. And then I had also saw a video of Brian Kelly yelling at a quarterback. I forgot who it was. I can't remember, but he was like turning purple on the sideline.
Yeah, he used to be like that, yelling at people, like turning like red all the time.
100%. So I remember watching that as a kid in high school, and I was like, oh man. I mean, he doesn't seem like that when I've met him in person, but they say that switches can flip. And at that time, once again, I think it was just an impulse decision on my part. It was nothing against, like, nothing bad happened. There was nothing that like turned me off of the school. I was just like, I don't know if this is where I want to go to school. I rushed to a decision, and that's when I backed out. And then in between my junior and senior year, after I had actually decommitted, I had conversations with Coach Kiffin. And Coach Kiffin's a Southern California guy. And at the time, they were killing it. And Blake Sims was the quarterback that year. And they were doing really well. And Blake Sims was like a really athletic guy, a playmaker, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he would identify himself as like a stereotypical pro style quarterback. And from my impressions, I thought Coach Kiffin, his style offense definitely catered to like the pro style quarterback. So I was thinking, okay, well, if Blake Sims is doing really well as more of an athletic guy, then I think I could do well in his offense. And then obviously there's a good amount of stardom that comes with factor thing being completely real, man. I mean, you go to school or you go to a visit there, you see the culture, you see the locker room, and seeing Saban and all his rings. I mean, it's a real deal thing. So there was a lot of factors that went into me wanting to go there, but those are like the the primary ones, you know, of why that was the choice being made. You know, my goal in high school was like, I want to go to the NFL, and you know, what place did I think would give me the best opportunity to go there would be the number one college in the country at the time, and I mean, still to this day. So that was really the decision process that went along to those things unfolding the way they did.
Yeah, if you want to go to the league, Bama's the place.
Sending out first round.
Yeah, I know. Pretty crazy, right?
All right, but talking about Bama, how would you describe that winning culture and, you know, Nick Saban? How would you describe Alabama as a whole?
It's different, man. You know, it's pretty crazy going there. You know, I was 18. I enrolled early, so I was doing workouts in January when all my friends were, you know, going their second semester of high school. I was doing spring workouts, and being put into that at that age is pretty eye-opening. And it's really like a feast or famine deal, which something I really liked because, you know, I never really had an issue with like my work ethic or, you know, establishing like an identity with the team, you know, being able to keep up with everyone in conditioning and show that you have a decent work ethic. That wasn't really an issue of mine. And so I enjoyed that right away and seeing how, you know, I don't want to say controlled, but everything is very, it's put in place for you to do the right things, if that makes sense. You know, they structure everyone's day so that it revolves around doing everything possible to make the team successful. So, you know, it is the definition of like, you know, you go to class, you go to workouts, you go to class, you go to lunch, you go to practice, you go to Dunning Hall, you go to study hall, then you go to bed. It's like everyone on a daily basis. You know, me being all the schools that I've been to, I saw what it's like at different universities, and there's a certain level of that at every one, but mostly it's catered like that for the young guys to kind of get comfortable, and then once they're comfortable, they kind of make their decisions. At Alabama, I mean, it's like that until you're in grad school, really. I mean, they're pushing you to yeah, they want you to be as structured as you can, which is understandable. I mean, the best way to get everyone on the same page is to have everyone doing pretty much the same thing. You know, but that winning culture and identity is really player driven. You know, they've been so successful that they're able to recruit the guys, and the young guys are able to learn by the veterans because the veterans have that culture as part of their identity. You know what I mean? It's the coaches definitely enforce it, but the players are the ones that really lay the law. So being able to see that at the highest level was really cool, and being able to learn that at a young age in my college career.
Yeah, that culture. Alabama players, they don't celebrate. They give the ball to the ref. Next, they keep it moving. I'm just, ooh.
Because they're coached to. They're coached to. I mean, that's not in anyone's really DNA to a certain extent, right? We live in a world that's all about glorifying yourselves. But when you're put in a culture where everyone is expected to do everything for the team and the culture, then that's how they work and how they operate.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see. But your first year, you redshirted, and then your next year, you got to start against USC. So what went into your thought process going into that game?
You know, it was kind of a weird time. Not really something I reflect on too much. But yeah, but you know, at the time, I had gone through fall camp. From my perception at the time, I had done everything that I could in my power to earn the starting role. And then the day of the game, I actually was told by Coach Saban that I would be starting the game. You know, that week leading up, I had taken a majority, I'd say, of the ones reps. So I kind of had an idea, but I wasn't certain. So I didn't find out I was really starting that game until that day. Like no one told me anything until that day. And then, you know, going into that game, I was really comfortable and wasn't like stressed out or nervous. I was pretty composed, I would say. I mean, for anyone being in that kind of situation, you know. But it's funny, like you talk about on Twitter, I've been kind of relentless. There's been a lot of times like people are like, "Oh, he was so nervous in that game. He was so nervous." Like, the last thing I was nervous, man. Like I practiced with these guys every single day. My true freshman year, I was redshirting. I was literally getting the crap beat out of me on scout team by a defense where the entire defense played in the NFL. A majority of them are still playing in the NFL. So you think I'm nervous just because I'm playing against, and I don't mean this slandering, but USC was not nearly as good of a team as we were.
No, definitely not.
So, I wasn't nervous by any means, but the first drive we went out, and I think it was like run. I had an incompletion to Calvin on like a screen pass. The ball was a little low, so we went 3 and out. And then the second drive, there was a communication error between the center and I on a protection. So they were overloading one side. I changed the protection. The responsibility was on the center to kind of turn the protection, and the running back, they had a miscommunication. The running back saw the center put his hand on the guy left. Long story short, I got smacked. My cleat came off. It was a mess. My face mask was bent. It was crazy, right? And then there was an incompletion, it was a completion on like 3rd and 4. I threw it to O.J. Howard. He got 3 yards, punted again. And then Jalen went in. So I went from like starting the game, that happened, could have been concussed, don't know. My face mask was messed up, man. And then Jalen went in, and really the rest was kind of the show. That was kind of it. And then ended up going at the end of the game in scrub time and, completed a couple passes. But at that point, the game was over. So, that was a pretty wild time, a real roller coaster of emotions, because I went from, starting this game and, hopefully the beginning of what I thought would be a hopeful career there. And it kind of was a flip on the page.
I could not imagine being on the scout team going against those defenses. But
oh, dude, I got plenty of videos on my phone of me getting smacked. I was bad too. I instigated a lot of it because I thought I was athletic at the time, so I would go really, really hard in practice, and those guys didn't like it, man. I mean, I got along well with a lot of them, but I got my hand share of getting smacked. Probably deserved it.
Like you said, I mean, most of them in the league. It's crazy to think about. Like, it is like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now you decide to transfer from Alabama midway through the year. Like, most people don't leave midway through the year. So what all into that decision to leave, and then midway through the year too?
Yeah. So, once again, roller coaster of emotions. At the time I was 19. Probably wasn't making the best decisions at the time. Not to say that I regret it by any means, but at this point, it was like game 4. Jalen had identified himself as a starter. I mean, it was clear that he was the guy. And I kept trying to find transparency as to why things happened. Understandably, I had 2 3 and outs, but I also wanted to know, like, I came in the end of the game and I did all right. I thought I was doing well in practice, and I just kind of wanted to have some kind of transparency from the coaches. And so I met with the coaches. I met with Coach Saban. I met with Coach Kiffin, and each one kind of put the responsibility on the others. And it was challenging for me at the time, because what I really looked for coming out of high school was a relationship with my head coach or my offensive coordinator. I'm a very relationship heavy individual. A lot of my close friends I still keep in touch with. And that was kind of what I wanted to aspire to have going into college. And it was challenging for me because I didn't have a relationship with either of them. I wouldn't see Coach Kiffin except for our meetings. I probably had 5 conversations with Saban the entire time I was there. He's a DB's coach, but I didn't really have too many actual personal interactions with him, which was tough because, in my perspective, this is not the end all be all, but the thing I wanted to have a relationship. I wanted to feel like I could trust the individual and have clear communication with them. And it just wasn't something that I felt like I was getting. And at the time, everyone had the perspective that if you wanted to transfer, you had to wait till the end of the year, then you sit at a calendar year, and then you'd be eligible a year later, right? Which at the time, everyone only thought that's what you could do. So when I realized that I wasn't the starter anymore, I started to do a little research. My dad did as well, and we found out that it's not a calendar year from after the season. It's a calendar year from whenever you leave, right? So at that point, if it was 4 games in, if I had transferred that day, I'd be eligible the 5th game the following year. And then if I wait that 5th game, then I'll be eligible the 6th game next year. So it was pretty much, in my mind, I was on a time clock, right? Like the faster I operated, the faster I'd be eligible this time next year. So that probably didn't help with the impulsive decisions being made because, from my perspective, I was like, I got to go. If I'm going to go, I got to go. Looking back, would I have done things differently? Maybe, probably, who knows? Can't really put that to words now. Who cares at this point? But, that's when I was like, all right, well, if this is what I'm going to do, I got to do it now. So I did. And then look at all the guys doing it now. It's like, it's the most common thing ever. Exactly. So that's why it was such an urgent departure, is because I thought it had to be. I thought, I'm running out of time. I got to be able to play this time next year. If not, I'm just going to put myself in an even worse situation. So I just kind of hit the eject button and left, and is what it is. And I didn't get highly praised for it, understandably. But,
but I can just see you like on your computer in a dorm room, just looking up through the NCAA rule book, trying to find a loophole.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how it was, man. It was in a tough time. It was, like I said, a roller coaster of emotions, to put it lightly. I wanted to play, and my perception of what my reality would have been like there wasn't it. And I figured, well, if I'm going to get to the NFL, my goal then to play. And I didn't really have the idea that it would have worked out well there. So I took it at face value and left. But is what it is. Like I said, there's nothing I can do about it now, so just gotta I just got to talk about it on podcasts.
I covered our 6-man blitz.
There we go. Yep.
Now, what are some things that you wish you knew before you went and headed over to Arizona State?
One thing, I wish I knew that Chip Lindsey wasn't going to leave the week I got there. That would have been nice. But yeah, like that was, 95% of the reason as to why I wanted to go to Arizona State is because I had built a really good relationship with their offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey. And I would still say that he was probably one of the realest people that I met through the recruiting process. A lot of it is fakeness.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of these guys are, doing their job in recruiting and putting on a certain kind of attitude. I would still think, in my opinion, I still think he's like a really good dude. Was able to meet his family. He came to my house on an official visit. I went out there, had a really good relationship built with him. And like the one question I asked before I actually committed there was like, "You're not going to Auburn, right?" And he's like, "I'm not going to Auburn, Blake." Okay. And then I commit, I enroll. I enrolled on like a Monday. And that Saturday, I get a call from him, and he's like, "Hey, Blake, I got the job at Auburn, and I'm going to go." It's like, all right.
Damn.
So that was pretty interesting, but that's the world that college football is.
Exactly.
Yeah, college football is so tough with like you finally love your head coach and your coaches around you. Next move, they're on to something better, or they're trying to find another job. It's like, damn.
It's crazy. And the one thing that's challenging is that, once you go through the process, you have a lot of kids asking that are getting recruited, how do I make the decision? What do I want to look for? And it's tough because, once again, like myself, I really wanted a relationship. I wanted to be able to play for a coach that I trusted and that I could talk to, and that cared about me and my self-interest. Now that's really hard to come by in college football, right? I mean, it's a money-driven industry. But I still, to this day, I can't really put an exact fingerprint on what I think is the best thing to look for in a school. Obviously it depends on your position and what your goals are, but everyone, all the coaches and fans will always say, well, they'll commit to the university because at the end of the day, the degree is what's the most important thing. And it's like, man, shut up. No one not that no one cares about that, but I'm 18 years old, man, and I've got offers from all the places in the country, right? This is the perspective of kids, and they're like, am I really going to think about getting a job when I'm 26 years old right now, or am I going to think about trying to go to the NFL and play in the system where I can show my skills? So, it's unrealistic to say that, and it's such a chaotic industry, man, that it's sad to see a lot of kids go through really bad situations just because, they were promised the world and reality hit them. So, it is what it is, but that's part of it.
Yeah, it's a tough business, but it definitely gets you right for life. This is
Yep.
exactly what life's going to be. That's what my coach always tells us.
100%. Yep.
All right, so you get to Arizona State, your coach leaves, but then your offensive coordinator is from Alabama who comes over.
Yep.
And then
you can't make that up, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, just what are the odds? But then they still go Manny Wilkins. So, do you hold a heavy heart with Arizona State and, not getting a lot of playing time?
Not really. It was such a weird time. Having that coach and it was Coach Napier. I got along really well with Coach Napier. I didn't really have much interaction with him when he was at Alabama. But it was pretty ironic how things unfolded the way they did. But what was challenging for me there is we weren't that successful of a team. And there was times where I was like, I think I can be able to help. And I just didn't really get an opportunity to. So it is what it is. I just made sure at that time that, I had just gone through a crazy situation with Alabama. And once again, an impulse decision being made. And I kind of reaped the negative effects of that. So I was like, I just want to try to be a good teammate, be a guy that cares about the guys around me, and just see how things go. So I did. And then ultimately, that was Manny's junior year. It would have been his senior year, my junior year. So I was like, all right, am I going to stick this out again, or am I going to try to find a place where I could just play for 2 years and at least enjoy my college career? So I had met with Coach Edwards at the time because our head coach ended up getting fired, so
Of course.
I met with Coach Edwards, right? I mean, is meant to be at that point. So I met with Coach Edwards after going through a spring, and I was like, hey, Coach, I'm not really sure what I want to do. And he actually encouraged me. He's like, hey, if you could find a place that you can go play, he's like, I encourage you to do that. He was like, I appreciate your time here, being a good teammate. So I did. And at the time I had literally one school on the table, Division I school at least. And that was South Florida. And so I didn't even know where that was at. I had never been to Tampa, no clue. And I had one official visit scheduled, went on it with them, and that was it. So opportunity to go there, compete, earn the starting job, have a really fun junior year, and enjoy my time there, get a master's degree. So that was obviously something that was taken into consideration. So yeah, it was a crazy roller coaster ride, man.
Got that master's, all about those books, man.
Hey, got to get it done. Master's in 5 years too. So yeah, you got to get something out of it, right?
Now,
so when people always DM me on Instagram telling me how much I blew it, I could say, screw you, man. I didn't pay for college.
Now, during your college career, you faced a lot of injuries and adversity. What can you say to somebody who's going through an injury and is worried about facing another one? What would be your advice to them?
I mean, life's unpredictable, dude. I mean, my college career is a testament to that. I mean, it's really hard to have an idea of what's going to happen next. You can only really deal with whatever's put on your plate. And so that was my biggest thing was, all right, well, I'm injured. Let's do my best to recover from this and get back on the field. Cause my junior year, I got beat up too. I had like 2 or 3 bad high ankle sprains, sprained my AC joint in my throwing shoulder. And it was always like, all right, try to get back as fast as I can and play. It was tough because, 2 of those injuries came halfway through games and I ended up still finishing the game. I had like a level 2 tear on my calf with a high ankle sprain on it. And that happened in like the second quarter of a game. And I still ended up finishing the game and I couldn't walk the next day, man. So, it was always just trying to finish the task at hand, and whatever that was, make sure you do it and move on to the next. So, just embrace the challenges. Injuries are something that are really hard to deal with, especially, when they're happening that frequently. But you just got to make sure that you take care of yourself and do it the right way. There's probably times that I rushed back, and that didn't necessarily help me. But is what it is, and there's not much I could change about it now. But I'd rather fail on the side of toughing it out and being there for your team as opposed to not. So.
All right, so everyone's goal is to play in the NFL, and you even said that too. With COVID, you didn't even get a pro day or anything. But could we see Blake Barnett back on a football field in 2021?
I don't think so, man. I mean, football's been so good to me. I mean, with all the crazy things that have happened, like everything, really, aside from my family, everything up into my life in terms of things that I'm appreciative for have happened because of football. So relationships that I've made, the degrees that I've got. So it's tough because I look back, and everyone always says this, but there's never a more pure time of playing football than in high school. And at this point, like I've received so much from the game of football. I'm in a position right now where it's like, it's really challenging because I'm old. I mean, compared to these guys coming out, I mean, realistically, I'm old. I'm 25, right? I mean, most of these guys are getting drafted right now are 21 to 23 at most. I'm beat up. I got hurt a ton. And, I haven't played in almost 3 years. So it's challenging. I had an offer from a CFL team like a month and a half ago. But Canada doesn't even know what the heck it's doing up there right now. The border's not even open.
It's crazy up there.
So, it'd be pretty wild for me just to sign away my rights, not get paid anything, and, have to just survive in the meantime. But, aside from all those factors, I have a family. I've loved being able to spend time with my kids and my wife. And my, desire right now is to really pursue a career, and work hard the next couple of years and then try to maybe eventually start my own business. So, it's tough because I understand that I'll probably never get as much true enjoyment from the game of football as I did when I was in high school. So, I feel like it would just be kind of counterintuitive for me to just keep chasing it. And, the one thing I always told myself is I don't want to be that guy that doesn't know when it's time to hang the cleats up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I know for a fact I can still spin it. Like I know I can do it. It's just a matter of, and I don't mean that with an ego. Like I know I can throw the ball well, but, I also know that up until this point, I've been pretty, beat up. So it's tough, man. A lot of factors get put into play, but it's just, it's hard for me to see through that at this point.
Yeah, I feel you on that. There's nothing that beats Friday Night Lights, man. That atmosphere.
Oh, I wish I could go back and tell my 17-year-old self that, because I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, but like that environment's so hard to beat. It really is.
Hey, but if you do go to CFO, we're supporting you over at Six Man Blitz. Best believe, man.
I appreciate you guys,
All right,
man.
so for the second part of the interview, normally do rapid fire takes, but now we're gonna hit you with some rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, now the first one. What was your personal favorite game of your career? It could be any game. Most people say like Pop Warner. We get those kind of answers.
I had 2 games in high school. In high school, both the games went into like second overtime. We actually lost both of them, both by extra points, which sucked. But those games were fun, man. I think we ended up scoring like 7 or 8 touchdowns those games, each
Damn.
one. And they were a lot of fun. The second one was on TV, and the other team had a really, really good offense, a really good defense. They had like 4 or 5 Division I players. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the special teams is called special teams for a reason.
Oh, I know, man. I think like probably 25% of my high school highlight tape is from those games. It was fun.
All right, so now you went to San Diego High School. Are the Sharks the best mascot around?
Shoot, man, I thought about that once I was in high school. I was like, I don't know if there's many mascots that could be better than that. And our uniforms were sick. They were our junior and senior year. We had all black Nike uniforms, and the numbers were just outlined in teal. So like the announcers hated it because they couldn't tell who was who.
Oh yeah,
But they looked sick on the field. They were awesome. All black. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know many mascots that are better than that, especially at the high school level, man. Most high schools are like boring mascots.
Yeah, exactly. Most of them are like, a bird or,
something simple.
Now, who is one quarterback you modeled your game after?
I don't know if I necessarily model my game after anyone. I think when I was in high school, the hot name at the time was Johnny Manziel. Like everyone was wanted to be Johnny Manziel. Yeah, Johnny Football was like the Patrick Mahomes of right now. You know what I mean? So he was cool to watch. I loved Tim Tebow growing up too. Those guys were both really exciting to watch. Yeah, Tim Tebow was cool because he was a big dude that could move, and that's what I wanted to do in high school, right? I mean, I was able to run a lot more in high school because I was big and fairly fast. So, yeah, I mean, those were probably the 2 guys who I looked up to at that time.
All right, so on Twitter, you made a joke about the NCAA should pay you for the creation of the transfer portal.
Dude, yes. I mean, come on, man. You look at like all the quarterbacks, most of which are either in the NFL or on the way to the NFL right now. I mean, maybe Joe Burrow should get a little compensated too, because I think he transferred the same year I did, or maybe a year after. Maybe he should get some commission based off of it too. But I mean,
but should we change the name to the Blake Barnett portal?
Maybe. Nick Starkel, also another guy. He maybe should be able to get some commission off of that too. I mean, I think he's one of the guys that's transferred as many times as I have. And it's funny, I've joked about, like, him and I have DM'd on Instagram, like, joking about it. We have our small fraternity, a few select.
The few select.
Yeah.
Now, what is the loudest stadium you've ever played in?
This is probably Bryant-Denny. Alabama's home stadium was really loud, man. I never went to Death Valley. I heard it's pretty loud. I also heard, though, Texas A&M's new stadium's really loud.
Yeah.
But I heard they put speakers in there too, so that's like totally cheating.
Oh yeah, that's
fair.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on, that's BS. Who's going to do that? Dallas's stadium was really loud, but the fans are kind of far away. The stadium's so massive.
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's tiered up high.
No, just like no.
Yeah, like it was, Alabama's is still huge, obviously, but it's still relatively close. What was crazy to me going through college and all different conferences is some stadiums are so close. Like fans are literally like 10 yards away from
Yeah.
you, which is so counterproductive, man, because you've got like 16-year-olds, or not 16, but like 17, 18-year-olds who are like redshirt freshmen on the sideline, like sitting on the bench, and you've got fans like dog cussing them. And these kids are fresh out of high school, turn around like, screw you too. Like, it's a mess, man.
Crazy.
It's pretty funny. Once you're like an old guy, you just kind of sit there and you laugh, but some of the young kids get pissed off and like borderline start fights with fans who are drinking at a game. It's just, it's crazy to see.
Now, who was the best player you ever went against?
Oh, man. It had to be someone. I mean, we didn't play against them, but in practice, that defense my freshman year, man, was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I mean, literally, I think out of the 11, at least 11, or every single one of those at least made it to an NFL camp.
Oh, yeah.
And I guarantee you at least 6 or 7 of them are still on a roster right now, which is crazy. But I don't know. There's a ton of guys that I couldn't tell you one. That defensive line was scary, man. Scary. Like, I got my you-know-what handed to me too many times. Trying to outrun those guys or trying to make a move on them when I was like 190 pounds. It was brutal. It was brutal. It was a good learning lesson for me, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, now, so you're walking down the alley. It's like 3 a.m., whatever time you want. And who would you pick to fight with you in a street fight? Anybody.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou, hands down.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with him.
I don't think anyone in the world wants to mess with him.
Our last
John Jones wants
person
10
Mike
million.
Tyson.
Dude, not even close. Not even close. Like, John Jones wants $10 million to fight Francis Ngannou, and John Jones has been referred to as the baddest man on the planet by everybody. So, yeah, I don't know you, Francis, but I would love to have you right behind me if I ever got a street fight, because I wouldn't have to do anything.
I think everybody would.
Yeah, that guy's a beast, man.
All right, so is California football, high school football, the best football around?
Oh God, that's the number one topic of every Division I football locker room. Depends. I think California could compete with every state, or at least a school from California compete with every state. By pure talent, Florida probably has the most athletic guys. I would give that to my guys in Florida. Texas is probably really close. But I would say that if you took the top 5 teams from California and put them against the top 5 teams in Florida or even Texas, I think it would be really competitive. I wouldn't say that either side would be a blowout. But there's a lot of really, really good programs that go through California. I think there's a select few in Florida that are like generational good programs. Texas obviously has a crazy amount of them, but pure talent. Oh yeah, it's crazy. Pure talent, Florida hands down. Programs with great coaches. California is really hard to beat. I mean, there's a lot of major powerhouses that I think could do really well. So I'm not going to give you a firm yes or no on that, but I think I'll stand by California could compete with anyone.
Okay, that's fair.
But all right, the next question is: you got 3 dinner guests, dead or alive. Who are you choosing?
Man, this is a little out there, but I'd probably have David Goggins, Jocko Willink, and Joe Rogan.
Okay.
I feel like that would be a crazy. Do you know who those guys are?
I know Joe Rogan.
You know who Joe Rogan is? Do you know who David Goggins is?
Nah.
You don't know who David Goggins is? Are you serious?
Nah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, go on your phone real quick. Right now.
Okay.
David
Go on
Goggins.
David Goggins' account and follow him. Or at least save it for later.
I bet.
Because you're going to watch one of his videos and you're going to be like, wow, I'm disgustingly lazy and I need to do something. Both of those guys have like fantastic books. They've been on a ton of podcasts. Both of them are former Navy SEALs. Jocko Willink he was a former Navy SEAL. He teaches like leadership. He's got a couple books, Extreme Ownership and then Dichotomy of Leadership. Both really good books. David Goggins has a book called Can't Hurt Me. Fantastic book. They're both like nuts, man, but in a good way. Like really motivational. All about like the willpower of your mind. And Joe Rogan's had both of them on his podcast. So I think that'd be one of those dinners where you just sit there and listen to everybody and you don't even say anything.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting dinner.
You don't even need to say anything.
Yeah. Huh?
You don't even need to say anything.
Yep, you just sit there. I think it would be entertaining. I probably should have put a comedian. Oh, I guess Joe Rogan is a comedian.
Yeah,
So.
technically he is a comedian.
Yeah, so there we go. That might be a decent dinner.
All right, so for the last question, we ask everybody this, our most popular question. In the movie Cars, do they have life insurance or car insurance?
The movie Cars?
The movie Cars.
Ooh, that's a good question. I watched this movie so many times, man.
It's a
My
classic.
son loves this movie. It's got to be life insurance, right?
I mean, you can go either way.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be life insurance, and I say that because there's like other vehicles in the movie that are alive. Like the helicopters are alive, and
Okay.
like the blimps are alive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they
haven't
can't
heard
have
that
car
one before.
insurance.
Yeah, we haven't heard that one before. Like, thinking outside the box. That's what I'd like to see.
You know what I'm saying? Like they have to have life insurance. I don't think they have blimp insurance or the helicopter insurance. I mean, I'm sure it's a thing, but I don't think they have it. It's got to be life insurance.
Nobody's got blimp insurance.
Hey, right?
Life insurance
Have
definitely
you heard of
is.
blimp insurance before? I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be life insurance.
Okay, I mean, that's the most popular answer. So,
All right. Oh, well, that sucks. I try to be something different, but I don't see how it could be car insurance.
no, I mean, they're like our cars. So,
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going with life insurance.
all right. So, that's all we got for you. You've been great today. We appreciate you for coming on again. And that's all we got. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, now we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Blake Barnett. It's good stuff. Great to see Blake coming out, on this interview on the Six-Man Blitz. Now we got two quarterbacks now, and we got a Peyton Thorne and we got Blake Barnett. So we might have the quarterback duel, And we got a quarterback coming on next week.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But hey, now let's get into the sports talk portion of this episode. I'm sure to hit you guys with some recap of what we've been watching the NBA playoffs. And then Julio Jones, you see A.J. Brown trying to recruit him, Pat McAfee trying to recruit him. It's like he's still in the Falcons. You can't recruit him. So it's like I don't understand what they're doing here. But let's start with NBA playoffs. Got to start at 1 versus 8 West Coast Western Conference. Start Jazz versus Grizzlies. John Morant's been absolutely balling, man, killing them. Just 47 the other night. It's crazy what he's been doing, man. Like, obviously the Jazz are gonna win this series unless the Grizzlies can take Game 3.
Even Dylan Brooks is, stepping up a level with his
Who would have
offense.
thought Dylan Brooks would have been stepping up?
And he guards the best player on each other team. You see him when they play the Lakers. He guards LeBron.
Kawhi Leonard should take
He
some
was
notes, huh?
he was all over Curry in the play-in. So
Kawhi Leonard should take some notes, huh?
hey, don't talk about my flippers right now.
But John Morant, man, like we saw this from him, like flashes, but like he's putting it together right now.
I like this movement now. It's the younger talent that's out there that's doing their thing, but it makes you sad when you see Dirk Nowitzki in the stands not playing, not in the turnaround Jay.
But sticking to the Jazz game, like if the Grizzlies can sign somebody in the offseason, like watch out, man. Like if they can get like a forward other than I mean they got Dylan Brooks, he can play one or
They
two or
got Kyle
three.
Anderson starting at forward.
Like, come on, man. But like if they can get a signing or something or even a draft pick that fall to them when they trade up, it's like watch out for the Grizzlies next year, man. Like I like the Grizzlies right now. And if Ja Morant can just keep this up, man, like he passed Jordan for the most points first two playoff games. Like he's literally putting the team on his back, man. Like these Grizzlies are good, and they nobody even had them beating the Warriors.
Yeah, I didn't have him beating the Warriors.
All right, let's get into the most interesting game. Everybody's been talking about 4 versus 5, Clippers versus Mavericks. We know you're the Clippers guy. We know you watch the Clippers closely. Luka Doncic, man, Debo, he's Debo in the neighborhood, man. Everybody's afraid of him. Kawhi Leonard isn't guarding him. Big concern. He's, he did this last year to y'all, and he's doing it again. Like, what is going on with the Clippers, man?
Nah, I think it's like we're giving too many minutes to Reggie Jackson.
And he's not doing nothing.
And Marcus Morris, he fouled out. Like these players that we like, most of our money is in guys that are not getting minutes. Serge Ibaka had 5 minutes. Luke Kennard, he's getting paid how much money just to sit on the bench? He's not played a minute in the playoffs yet.
I think $40 million. He plays 0 minutes.
He's just riding the bench. We need Rondo in there more.
Court side.
Bro, and Pat Beverly's guarding Lucas. Like what?
Like, bro, Pat Beverly is a good defensive guy. Don't get me wrong, but like, he's not Luka. Like, he cannot keep up with Luka. And like, you need Paul. When is Kawhi gonna step up and guard Luka Doncic?
It's getting to the point where he has no choice.
He literally has no choice. And we're one of the greatest defensive players in this decade, whatever you want to say. Yeah. He has to guard the best offensive player, and that's Luka Doncic. Like, it's getting to a point where, it's 2-0 right now?
Yeah, and it's going to Dallas where they'll have fans.
So it's like we're recording this. Oh, they don't even play tonight. They play Friday night, and it's like I expect, if Kawhi doesn't guard him, it's 3-0. And then where do the Clippers go from there?
There's no way you come back from 3-0, I don't think.
No, I'm saying like offseason. What do they like? They get bounced first round. Like,
nah, I've been hearing some talks because Kawhi's a free agent. He might go to the Knicks next year.
What if he went back to Toronto?
Him on the Knicks, the Julius Randle, if they bring back D Rose, keep the core they got.
He doesn't do that Tom Thibodeau shit though.
Oh yeah, Tom Thibodeau will coach him too hard.
He don't do that. He don't do that, man. But if he went back to Toronto though,
what happened to Toronto this year? That was
hey, with COVID, they were playing in Tampa Bay. Like what do you want them to do?
Yeah, true.
I would love him back in Toronto, man. Him, Siakam's still there, Kyle Lowry's still there. You still got some key assets still there, man. It's like I would love him back in Toronto.
Yeah. Kyle Lowry, big booty ass still there too.
But let's go on to Nuggets, Blazers. Obviously, this game's gone at like 9 o'clock at night, so I'm not really, in depth watching this game. But like, it's obviously the Nuggets need Jamal Murray. Like, there's no way they can go deep.
This game's gonna be on NBA TNT. This game's gonna be on NBA TV.
Like,
nobody's watching that.
It's so disrespected.
Yeah.
And I don't even like it's 1-1, but like they need Jamal Murray to go far.
Yeah.
And obviously, whatever team is probably gonna lose to the Lakers, but like, they.
But which team do you think has the best chance to compete against the Lakers?
I would say the Blazers because Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, like Anthony Davis is got Jokic, and he's gonna limit him, but he's still gonna drop 30. So it's like,
The Trailblazers big man doesn't do shit, so there's nothing to limit there.
Yeah, there's not a limit there, exactly. So that's not in their game plan. So I think the Blazers have the best chance at Lakers. But let's get to that Lakers Suns series. I think we have to right now. Like CP3, man.
It all comes down to him, whether he's healthy or not. That's the Suns'
He does not look
chance.
the same. We're recording this before the game, so we don't know what's happening in Game 3. So we don't have an analysis on that game. But it's so crazy, man. Like, and LeBron is fighting through this. You know, he had the shoulder injury. Chris Paul pulling his shoulder. You know, he's that.
LeBron is an actor. He not hurt.
Bro, he's literally like there was a fight breaking out, and he literally went over there and started, you know, pulling his shoulder, doing the best comedian gig of all time.
The preview for Space Jam 2.
Yeah, I would love to see Space Jam 2 after that. Great acting from LeBron, but Anthony Davis is just you can't mess with him.
But Aiden is doing a good job. He's given 20 points a night. He's doing what he can. The first game, he looked like the better big man.
It's just
But the second game,
Anthony
Anthony
Davis
Davis.
is the best player on the court. Like LeBron does not look 100% yet, but that means Anthony Davis stepping up and he's 100%.
Even Dennis Schroeder too had 20 points in game
Dennis
2
Schroeder was
too.
huge. That probably had to be one of the best free agent signings this year.
And
Dennis Schroeder.
Drummond, he had 15 points, 11 rebounds. That's what you just need him to do. That's all.
But Drummond was bought out though. But I'm saying like free agency.
Yeah,
I think it had to be Dennis Schroeder.
yeah, I agree with you.
But I mean, I think the West is shaping out really good. But you know, the Suns are just Devin Booker can't do it by himself. He needs Chris Paul.
No, he can't. Chris,
All right, I'll go
and like, even if Cameron Payne has like 20 points, like, you know what I mean?
Cameron
Like
Payne, where was he at on the Bulls, man?
he was doing the handshakes with Russell Westbrook.
You know,
That's all he was known for.
He's dropping 20 points in the playoffs. He's acting like a bona fide scrub, like Stephen A. said, on the Bulls. And now he's coming out dropping 20, man. Like LeVine could have used you this year.
Yeah.
LeVine could have used you. And you're wasting it. And you're
He's
down
hooping,
there.
and even that wasn't enough for the Suns to, get past the
Exactly.
Lakers.
The Lakers are just – it's every year. The Lakers, everyone doubts LeBron. Everyone doubts the Lakers, and they win every year. It's the same thing every year.
We'll see in the Western Conference. The Clippers are going to make the adjustments. They're going to come back.
They're not even going to make it there, man. But Sixers, Wizards, Westbrook getting popcorn thrown on him? Like, you serious?
That's because Westbrook is about it, and he would beat the dude's ass if you saw him.
The crazy thing, that dude wouldn't say shit to him if he was face-to-face. And he wouldn't throw popcorn at him like a punk.
They took a season ticket, so I think he's banned now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff banned. Like, you see a dude spit on Trae Young, do popcorn on Westbrook. Jazz fans got an altercation with Ja Morant's parents. They're talking shit to him, probably saying racist things because it's Utah.
Yeah. I expect nothing nice from Utah.
And it's like, everyone's like, Adam Silver, they're going out to Adam Silver. It's like, what can he do? How's this Adam Silver's fault?
I don't know what he can do.
There's nothing he can do. Fans have been locked in their house the last 2 years. They're just trying to cause some havoc, man, but spitting on somebody.
You got, like, as a human being, you got to know. That's one thing you don't do.
Like the popcorn thing, like, people are drunk, man. They're going to find ways to, that was like, that's nothing I've ever seen before, but spitting on somebody, like
what was going on in his head? He's like, oh, I'm close up. There's that guy. Spit on his ass.
like, come on, bro. What you doing, man?
And what's up with his homie? You got to check your mans. He had a Knicks game.
Man. Like, you get kicked out too.
Nah. If I'm at a Knicks game and my homie spit on somebody, I'm acting like I don't know, dude, bro. I'm trying to stay my team.
He go try to, bro, they kicking me out. I don't know you, bro.
Security, get his ass.
He's right here. Bro. Dude, I would be pissed, bro, if I got kicked out too.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if we had a game together, you spit on somebody, bro, I would look at you different, bro, after that. I don't think
You know how much those tickets cost, too?
I don't think we'd be friends after that, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Knicks, let's get into the Knicks game right now. And Sixers, Wizards, that doesn't need to be talked about.
Yeah, that's 4 sweep. That's a sweep.
That doesn't need to be talked about at all. Westbrook can't do it by himself. Obviously, Beal is, can't do two people. But this series is everything we wish for, but more. Trae Young looking like a young Reggie Miller, shushing the crowd, and looking like the villain, and they're chanting, fuck Trae Young. Trae Young's balding. It's like,
hey, some said Spike Lee was leading that chant. Now,
but it's like this is everything we wish for, man. And Trae Young, it's like, did you see the TikTok of him today? Where it was like Trae Young, if free throws weren't existed, and it was him like flipping burgers at McDonald's.
Is that like this is playoff basketball? It's definitely you can be happy about this.
You see the TikTok about Trae Young today?
No, what did he say?
It wasn't him. It was flipping burgers, and it was like Trae Young. If Burger King if free throws weren't a thing, he'd be working at Burger King. And I was like, that's true.
Oh, dude, those are funny as hell. They're like, oh, if this dude doesn't make free throws, he's doing this.
It was like if Russell Westbrook wasn't athletic. I'm like, bro, that's literally every NBA player. Every NBA player wasn't athletic. Besides, there's a handful that aren't. Taco Fall.
I mean,
look, Trae Young, he's been playing. I didn't like him throughout the years. He wasn't playing basketball correctly. He would just go up to somebody, pump fake, they would jump, and he'd lean into him and shoot. Like, that's fucked up.
Dude, that floater thing he has, just floaters all day.
Like, he drives, and Derrick Rose can't guard him, but, Alec Burks is right there, dropping 18. Derrick Rose is right there. Crunch time, Taj Gibson looking like a young Dennis Rodman, in his prime. I mean, it's crazy. Julius Randle had worst game of the year, and they only lost by 2.
Yeah. Julius Randle has not been playing like himself, but leave it to Frank Ntilikina, whatever.
And, I don't know why you put him in the game late in the game, and he just gets
if the world's on the line, I want him to guard Trae.
Laser beam on him. I want him.
But no, the thing I don't understand about this series is, why is Elfrid Payton getting 5 minutes?
Yeah.
He comes in, he starts, and then, leaves.
Derrick Rose playing 39 minutes. I'm like, how old is Derrick Rose? Did he get that much?
Tom Thibodeau, he don't be playing, man. That Supreme Dreams thing. He's like, you're on the court.
Yeah, he's like, you're on the court. All right. This is the series. Let's shift gears. This series nobody thought. Bucks already up 3-0 versus the Heat. Are you kidding me? I literally had the Heat going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, that was a bad prediction.
Obviously.
But yeah, I had them beating the Bucks, but it was only because of the fan in me in basketball. I love Jimmy Butler. Bulls basketball, he plays tough nose, but he's not getting it done. Either it's the Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, none of them.
Duncan Robinson had a good game 1, but other than that, Hero's coming in the game, shooting 1 for 9 for 3. It's like,
yeah,
you'll sit your ass down. That Kevin Hart meme. You'll sit your ass down, Tyler.
You need to leave.
You need to leave. But you can't. That's why they were so good in the bubble. Duncan Robinson stepped up. Tyler Hero stepped up. Bam was, not getting finished on in the paint. And pause. But it's happening here. The Bucks are doing everything right. The Heat can't keep up with them offensively, and it's like in that first game that we all were like, oh shit, this is gonna be a good series. The Bucks kept them in the game by not making free throws late in the game. Giannis was choking again. They kept him in there.
And you saw what happened game 2. They're making a record of threes, an insane number of threes.
And it's like, who is this team again? It's the Bucks.
You think this Bucks team though, how they're looking?
They could.
Next series against Brooklyn.
But this Nets team is looking like the greatest team offensively ever.
I don't know. They could surprise some teams.
We don't need to talk about this series, obviously, because the Celtics don't have Jaylen Brown. They're not looking 100%, but these Nets are insane. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Whenever you have three of those guys, nah.
All right, quick. Let's get into Julio. What is the best spot do you think Julio Jones should go?
I'm going to say it, the Baltimore Ravens.
You are one of the few people that say that. Like, not a lot of people are saying that.
I mean, they don't really have like an official receiver one, so he's not going to take anybody's spot away. You know, Hollywood Brown is a good receiver, but I think he's a better guy in the slot. And then Sammy Watkins, you know, I mean, hasn't had a good year since Buffalo, but you bring Julio Jones in this. Lamar Jackson throwing to Julio Jones?
That'd be insane.
Anywhere else is probably like that team's going to win the Super Bowl. Like, if you go to the Titans, Ryan Tannehill is going to be MVP or something. It's going to be like –
Tannehill would win MVP, though, like no cap, like dead ass.
And then if you go to the 49ers is another good spot because
getting Trey Lance, you know, him right away.
Julio Jones and Kittle.
But imagine the Colts.
That too. T.Y. Hilton's still there. Pittman Jr.
Exactly. And Carson Wentz, great offensive line, top five offensive line, football. Like, this is a match made in heaven. And
they have a good defense.
I don't know if they have a first-round pick, but only asking price is a first-round pick. Like, I would give a first-round pick up for in a heartbeat for Julio Jones.
Yeah. I'd give him 2.
I don't know about 2, but
before they change their mind.
I'll definitely give him 1. Maybe a second.
Yeah.
I totally would.
They're doing these trades like when you turn the settings to forced trade and shit.
You try to do these trades, and man, they're like, no, you're not trading Julio Jones just a first-round pick. You gotta give me your best quarterback. Gotta give me your best left tackle and a first-round pick.
Yeah.
All right, what you got for closing remarks?
The Sixers, man, they look good. Now, Milwaukee looks good. I like, that series is going to tire out the Nets. But when they come to Philadelphia, our home court, Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons, and Embiid, 3 legit Defensive Player of the Year candidates. Sixers and 6.
Sixers and 6 what?
To go to the finals against the Nets.
Wow, that's some really sharp stuff right there.
I don't see a big man for Brooklyn lasting 7 games with.
They don't
Embiid.
need that. They got Harden, Westbrook, and KD that can shoot from anywhere on the floor.
All right, that game's gonna be like 150 to 140 then.
over sitting in every game, man, no doubt about it. My closing remark would be Javi Baez. You see
that play, yeah.
That play with that first baseman getting sent down to minor league right away, man. He could have stepped on the bag. They had 2 outs in the inning. Could have stepped on the bag, would have been over with.
And how he was chasing him, he was like walking.
Like, Javi Baez is a magician, bro. He's done some crazy things on the field, and it's crazy to see that, like, people are like they don't care. Like, yeah. He does crazy shit, bro. Nobody cares, bro. And it's Javi Baez that dude, bro. Yeah. What you got for song of the week? You got one?
Ooh, I gotta think about that one. Seeing Green off Nicki Minaj's. Yeah.
Bro, Drake killed that part. But mine is Young Thug, Digits.
We ran out of the digits. We ran out the money.
Hey, that's what let's do. Came on car the other day and like, that's my jam right there. But that's all we got for you guys today. We've got a great interview next week. Add another quarterback to our roster. You know the vibes. Make sure to subscribe to 6 Man Blitz on podcast, Spotify, YouTube, where you listen to podcasts. Follow us at 6 Man Blitz, social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Just follow the Linktree, man. You know me out here, man. But you got anything else for the people, man? Got any last words?
Nah, you covered it. 6s and 6.
It's just a long episode, but appreciate you guys if you listen to through all the way. All right, see you guys.